Hi, this is Tony Harris Taylor with another episode of the Drastic Results with Tony Harris Taylor show. And we have today a special guest, a repeat guest, Ms. Caitlin Penny with Copper Theory Creative. Welcome, Caitlin.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, Caitlin is a contributing author to the Viral Networking for Drastic Results book. And we're super excited to get her perspective on networking and how it has helped her grow her business, what challenges she has had, and she's going to give you great advice. So, let's get started. So, in your own words, who are you and what do you do?
Well, I'm Caitlin Penny. I am the brand expert at Copper Theory. I also own Copper Theory. And Copper Theory Creative is now a full service design and branding agency based out of Chandler. We offer full online optimization, meaning content creation, graphic design, branding, web design, and social media now.
Awesome. So when I met her, she's just a little old branding girl. Now she is full service branding and marketing. And I'm so proud of your growth over the last 2 years. You are taking drastic steps. And so we'll talk about what part networking has played in your growing this brand. So how did your idea of your business come about?
Well, I don't know if you've ever seen Mad Men.
I've not.
No. Okay, so it is based in what, of 1950s, 1960s, I don't remember. Well, design ad agency, women were typewriters. Don Draper ran the agency, and it was a 250 person agency in a huge building. Everyone had their own job and their own boss and their own receptionist. I used to want to be that because I was inspired by those types of agencies, the big skyscraper ones. But I think now it kind of changed in the last year or so, meaning I like the familial feel of things. And when I ask someone to be my partner and or work with us, it means one, I like you. Two, I think that you produce quality work. And three, you're trustworthy. I never have to worry about if you're going to do the right thing. And I work remotely. I'm working from my home office right now, and so does everyone else. So I took a step back and thought about it. And basically what I came up with was you lose that company culture sort of corporate setting, or in that corporate setting. And I didn't want that. I don't work with corporate. I have never had the experience of being corporate. I'm starting to think that that's a good thing. and a lot of people are over it and tired of that type of work life. So I enjoy living the way I do now. I work from home. I hang out with my dog. I would like to grow my family soon. I just got married, and having the freedom and the independence, also the discipline to do all of this from home, I would like to extend that to everyone else that works for me. So I want to have a smaller team that gets along well, produces great work, and just collaborates with everyone. And
I know that networking has helped you grow your team.
Yes.
Yes. So what made you start networking?
Ooh, well, that's a good question. After I graduated college, I started working in a print shop, and my boss there, it was an all women owned print shop. My boss there was involved in the community heavily and always was doing a speaking engagement or some type of event, and she was just involved. So she had started introducing me to that community, and I knew no one. I knew nothing, and I was a newbie. I was 22, and I was terrified. But then I took that, and I have maintained those relationships for 5 years or so, and then I started doing it on my own. I'm not exactly afraid to know no one in the room. So now I've just defined the strategies.
Absolutely. Well, it's networking or cold calling or door knocking or paying a lot of money for advertising. And so networking is a great way to grow your business and build relationships. And you're very relationship minded and driven. So it makes sense that networking would be the way that you would grow your business. But when it comes to networking, there are so many emotions.
Right.
Some love it, others hate it. On the networking meter, where do you fall when it comes to networking?
I love it. 10 out of 10. I
Why do
don't,
you love it?
well, I don't think that you can be a business owner without talking to people and networking. I think it becomes very hard. So being a wallflower is just, well, completely pointless to me when I walk into a room, especially with that sort of purpose involved. Within the business, we take a very personal approach with our clients, and that involves an interview, and it lets us learn about you on a personal level and what your why, or yeah, what your why is. And so I walk around networking doing the same, and instead of friends, it's just business friends.
Yeah. What I love about networking is it gives you the opportunity to build friendships first, and
Absolutely.
then those friendships turn to business.
Yes.
So now virtual networking, you mentioned you're in Chandler. You didn't say the state. I'm in Texas. You're in
Arizona.
Arizona. So I know you do a lot of virtual networking. In fact, that's where we met. So virtual networking has become more popular since the pandemic. What
Mhm.
tips can you share to maximize virtual networking?
Mm. Well, one, and hats off to you, do it the hybrid way. I don't think it works full on virtual. I think it takes a lot to keep people's attention in person to begin with. So virtual is that much harder. We've all been on a Zoom call where someone is like sideways and looking at another screen or doing 30 things at once. While it's a convenience and a plus to Zoom virtual events, it also takes away from your presentation while you're on stage. Just like you putting on the viral networking conference, you had all of the swag and all of the branding, just like your background currently. You had posters and flyers and signage and banners. Even the tables were decorated. That brings people back in after they get distracted. So you lose that element or those elements in the virtual land. And it's hard to, well, it's just hard.
Yeah.
So I think that one, show up like you would want someone to show up to your own presentation. I think having your camera on is always helpful. It's very weird when you have to talk to a blank screen.
Very weird.
And make sure that you're engaging the audience. Pay attention to the chat box. Have an online survey. Make sure it's interactive. I think is the best piece that I can offer.
Awesome. Okay, so what is, you mentioned it earlier, you have no desire to go into corporate, but being an entrepreneur is not easy. So I know we make it look easy, you and I, but it is not easy. So what is the key driving force that keeps you to staying an entrepreneur?
I've never had a plan B. I've always wanted to be my own boss, so that's been very motivating in itself. But also being myself, it took me a while to figure that out, and that's what I constantly preach. It's so much easier to find the clients that you want to work with when you're genuine in your presence and in your brand. And if you are, it helps business gravitate towards you and helps you meet the right people. And yeah.
Awesome. So tell me about a time that you didn't want to show up, you pushed ahead, and you're glad you did.
Oh man. Well, I think I was a speaker at your conference. Not that I didn't want to show up. I definitely did, and I would have showed up in person either way. But that was my first time being on stage talking to an, I think, international audience.
Yeah.
And, you know, it wasn't thousands of people, but I was terrified. And I think showing up to those, just either a speaking event or a networking event, either way, I go to them if they're on my calendar. I do not give myself excuses. I still
Mm-hmm.
go either way because
Mm-hmm.
every time I think about not going and go anyways, something great happens.
Say that again. Every time I go and didn't want to go, something great happens, especially in those times you didn't want to go.
Right. And when
So,
I was speaking to on stage, that was, well, you offered me that for the first time. And I knew I had speaking in my business plan for 2021. And so I knew I had to do it. And I knew I was terrified, but I don't think that you can grow your business without making moves that don't terrify you
uh-oh,
sometimes.
that's drastic. By the way, if you're looking at my logo in the background, look at my logo in the background. Uh, Miss Caitlin is the designer of that. She got inspired in the middle of the night, jumped up, sketched it, and she says, I told her, look, I love it, but you know I change my hair a lot. And why did she give me 4 hair versions of the same logo? I love you for that.
Oh,
So you're amazing and thank you.
thank you.
All right. So tell me what types of challenges you have with networking.
Hmm. Well, we all know that I don't have any problem getting people on the calendar. But I think as business grows, you've got to be able to track that sort of thing.
Yeah,
And when you get to a certain point, I think you have to become more strategic with it,
yeah,
meaning you have to show up with a game plan. You have to know who you want to meet and have an idea of who will be in the room, and I think that will help you because I mean when you get to our point of networking, I go to last month I put 30 hours of networking events on my calendar. I looked and that is a lot of time.
sure
So I
is.
think at some point there comes a moment where you realize that you have to be very intuitive about the groups that you're in, whether they work for you, what you want to get out of the group, and how you can help them as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, it's very strategic. Just
Right.
curious. So I didn't announce this, but Caitlin is our running champion 2 years in a row to lead the conference with the most appointments. One of the advantages of Tony's conferences is everybody leaves with connections,
Mhm.
period. And she has won that contest 2 times in the last 2 years. But was getting people booked on your calendar your strategy prior to connecting with me and learning that strategy from me?
It was on my it was definitely a part of the game plan. I don't think it was the whole game plan.
Mhm.
My the most exciting part for me was coming to meet all of you for the first
Yeah,
time. We had
yeah.
known each other for over 3 years, I think, at that point. And when you walked into the room and I was like buzzing because it was the first time that we were going to meet, you're like, wait, is it?
I know because we
I was like, yeah, I've been waiting for this moment. So I
it
think it
was a
was
great
to,
moment.
yeah, so I think it was, that was part of the game plan, but the other parts too were to nurture those relationships and get to know you all a little bit more because it helps me see how you're going to change the world.
I love it. And your theme is change the world. Go and change the world, right?
Yes.
So tell me about a time that networking changed your world.
Ooh. Oh man. Oh man. Okay, I have to think about this. Hmm.
I can give you a hint.
Okay, give me a hint.
Well, you've expanded your business. Where did you meet those people?
That's true. That's true. Mrs. Valvik. So Valvik, if you don't know her, she's the most awesome copywriter. And she is amazing. She's super smart, and I never have to worry about if she'll do the right thing. We met at one of your events. I can't remember which one at this
The
point
first
because
one,
we
2020.
collaborated. 2020. Oh,
2020.
we were both, yes. Okay. And I know that anyone you ask to be a sponsor has to be someone that I should know. So we did the sponsorship together. We got to know each other. Again, it was the first time I had met her in person. So after a while, I decided that I wanted to expand my business to full service because I figured out the client journey. And instead of saying no to things, I just said yes and acquired the right partners to do so. Valvik is one of them. So it has changed the trajectory, I almost said trajectory of my business in a way that it doesn't, just because you own the business doesn't mean you have to do everything yourself. And it took me a very long time to figure that out, because being an artist, perfectionism at its finest over here. But that doesn't mean that might mean that you're not servicing your clients as well as you possibly could. So when I realized that, I went out and started looking for the people that I wanted to be my partners, and here we are. Hi, Val.
Yay. So I love that story. Every time Val says, "Oh, I'm working on a project with Caitlin," it just warms the cockles of my heart, because I know that I'm helping you all to grow and leave legacy, and it's just going to snowball. It is already snowballing from there. So let's talk about social media. You've added social media management to your business. So I know you believe in the power of social media, and that's a form of networking. How has social media helped you to grow your business?
Ooh, I love this story. So I added social media for a couple of reasons. It exists and everyone has it. And if you don't have it as a business, it's unprofessional at this point. Like not having a website in 2005, it is just something that has to happen. Well, I hear a lot of, I don't know how, I don't want to do it, I don't have time. So I made time and I acquired another partner to do that too. And we do a full-on hands-off approach. Full-on hands-off, okay. Approach. And basically what that means is you don't have to touch it. You just have to approve the content. So in doing so, and I've been pretty consistent, that is my one thing that I will never stop saying. Please be consistent on social media. Just like within your brand, you have clear messaging, Val, and then you put it on social media, and it helps you grow, and it also helps your audience understand what you do. If they understand what you do, they're more likely to buy from you. And I can tell you a great story right now. I've been very consistent on social media for a very long time. Not so much personal, but business itself. It has a purpose. Facebook is a business, LinkedIn is a business, and so are you. That's what they want you to put on their platform. So I was at an event probably about a year ago, and all of a sudden I showed up this was my first time there. I showed up, all of a sudden I hear from across the room, "Hey, I know you. You're the girl from LinkedIn." She recognized me per my headshot and my profile photo. I've never met this woman in my life. And now we are friends, and she sends me referrals.
There you go. So social media gives you the celebrity effect that people know your name when you're consistently showing up. And I get so many leads, connections. Val came back into my life because I did a Facebook Live and we hadn't seen each other in years. And look at how that has evolved because I showed up consistently. So social media is a form of networking. It is an extension of virtual and in-person networking. And Caitlin can help you to grow your business using consistent social media strategies. Okay, so let's talk about the dark side of networking.
Ooh, okay.
What mistakes have you seen entrepreneurs make when networking?
Being a wallflower. Not wanting to talk to people. Like I mentioned earlier, you can't not talk to people if you're the one that owns the business. I don't know how that works. If you figure it out, let me know. But I don't think it's possible. What I do think is possible is that you just can't be a wallflower. If you are going to a networking group for a reason, and don't waste your time. You didn't have to come. But you did, so you're already there. You did it. That's the hardest part. And so go talk to someone. It doesn't mean you have to talk to everyone. That's why I said maybe have a system for yourself. Who are 3 people that you need to meet? And the second thing too is don't be a robot when you introduce yourself. Don't say, "Hey, my name is this. I do this. Do you want to buy it?" It doesn't work like that. Talk to them like they're a real human being.
Yeah.
And when you do that, ask them how you can help them, whether it's a person that they want to meet, a networking group that they want to join, or a service that you can possibly sell them. Don't be so robotic.
I love that. I love that. So you just actually rolled the next two answers into. You just rolled the next two questions into your one answer, but I'm gonna ask them again collectively because it may trigger something else. So, what's your best networking tip? And I heard you say, "Don't be a robot, be personable, don't be a wildflower." But what does it mean to show up?
Oh. Well, another good networking tip is to have a thing, have an it thing. I always wear blazers with flowers on them. People know me as the blazer girl or the short suit girl. Or I wear hats. I have met and been invited to many networking events because my hat. That doesn't have anything to do with my business, but people notice you. What was your question?
That was perfect. I mean, actually, and so the answer was stand out, show up,
Yes.
stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your hats, and that makes you unique because it takes boldness, especially in hot Arizona, to wear a hat.
Yes.
And then the blazer with the flower. I love that. People always know me or don't know me because I change my hair a lot. And I have different glasses, but they recognize me by my glasses and red. So I went to a conference recently, and by the third day, people are like, "You haven't worn red." Okay, y'all, I'll wear red.
That is an expectation. I was surprised. See, your hair's different. You've got the red lipstick, but you were wearing pink. I've never seen you wear pink. That's the first thing I noticed.
Yeah. So always dress in your brand colors when you're representing, especially when you're speaking or getting honored. Always wear your brand colors. That way people will associate you and your brand. And that's a small tip, but it's a big tip.
You got the glasses too.
Yeah, and the glasses. And by the way, she also did that logo over there on the plate. And she made my glasses say I think that's what came to her in mind. Yeah. So the glasses say drastic. This little piece is a side S. That was so crazy, I just love that. All right. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that there's a book that I'm reading. It's called How to Talk to Anyone, and it gives you 92 tips and tricks, and they're so fun. And that was having the it thing is definitely one of them.
How to talk to anyone. I love that. I'm going to have to check out that book. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay. So describe how your networking has gone viral.
Oh, well, made my business get bigger. And since we don't have state lines to worry about as far as services we offer, we are now in servicing or have serviced 12 different states at this point. Not to mention Canada and Mexico.
Yeah.
I think that
Canada and Mexico, Caitlin?
Yeah. The only two countries I've ever been to.
Okay. Well, we'll fix that.
Yeah. Val too.
Okay, we'll fix that.
Val can fix it.
Yes, she can. Awesome. So what is your favorite quote around networking or connecting?
Oh man. Man, I don't know. I have so many. Let's see. I am a huge fan of Shark Tank, if you know me. I am always, my husband always says that I should be on there. I have no idea why I would ever go on Shark Tank, but I think that Damon John, you know him. Fubu, what else does he do? Some other things. I don't remember.
He does everything.
Yeah.
In fact, Damon John,
yes,
this little thing on the back of my phone, he's the part owner in that company.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So he has a quote that says, "Don't wait for the perfect time. You'll wait forever. Always take advantage of the time you're given." And I think that's really
Ooh,
awesome because it doesn't necessarily have to relate to business. It definitely relates to me a lot in a lot of ways personally as well. But I think that is a very good motivator of get it done, get out there,
yeah,
go do it, show up.
just do it. Just go. And then lastly, what final thoughts would you give an entrepreneur who is hesitant to network?
Mm, I think I'm going to go back to the be yourself. Just be your genuine self. People are going to see that. People can see right through you if you're not being authentic. And when you do, it's more likely, again, to attract people that should be and you want to be your clients, as well as find partners that will be able to collaborate with you and produce more and better results. And,
Yeah,
just treat people like they're friends. Don't don't try and be so scripty with it. Scripty is
yeah,
a word now.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, just talk to them like you're having a conversation. Just if you're reading from a script and it sounds so robotic, then it's just talk to them like you're having lunch with them.
Yeah, exactly. Just talk.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. Everybody shows up for the same reason, to meet new people. So
Right.
there should be no negative self-talk. Get out there and show up and be up, and you will be successful with your networking.
And
Well,
blow
thank you. And blow up. You will blow up. Ready.
up.
Yay! And create you some quotes so people will know them and know when to misquote your own quote.
Yes, a
Thank
tagline.
Well, Caitlin, thank you so much for the opportunity to get some insider information on why networking really does work. You're living proof. And I'm so proud of you and congratulations on the expansion of
Thank
your
you.
business. This is Tony Harris Taylor saying take a drastic step today for a fantastic tomorrow. Talk to you soon. Bye.